What's going on, guys? My name's Joe. This is the Duel Factory, and spoiler alert, we're still playing Branded. I know it's been a while since I posted a video, but I haven't been playing as much, but I have been recently testing a lot of different variations of this deck, and I finally found a build that I like for the most part, and I finally had an opportunity to go to locals and play it. We did go 4-0. Arguably, I didn't get to play against any cash or the mirror match, but I still liked how the deck ran. It was very consistent. I never had an issue like if my opponent had Ash Blossom, like I just lost outright. Like, you know what I mean? Like certain little things like that. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you what I played, and let's just get right into it. So obviously, we played 3 Albert. Not much to say here. It's just more copies of Branded Fusion. And then I played 1 copy of Tragedy. You need it as an engine requirement. And then I am playing 1 copy of Ad-Libbed and Despia. With the lack of Bestials in the main deck this format, I think Ad-Libbed is a lot better. Plus, we have infinitely more access because of the Cartesia fusion, so that's why we're playing that. And that's all for the Despia monsters. Then for engine requirements, and I consider these engine requirements, you have to play 2 Fallen Albaz. I'd be playing 3 if I'm playing Poly, but we're not playing Poly. And then I think currently, because we're not playing the Frightfur package and Rise Heart's a card, I think you have to play 2 Blazing Cartesia, because this is basically your polymerization or how you perform your second fusion summon most of the time. And playing fusion deployment, the card's really good. Like, being able to open like Branded Fusion deployment's like one of the best 2 card openings in the deck. And then for other Fallen Albaz name cards, we are playing 1 McCourier and 1 Albin the Shrouded Dragon. You really want McCourier to be able to search off Branded Lost. You can also send it off Fusion Destiny to summon Renbroom, which is one of the new fusions, and it's one of the best ways to out the cash board if you're not doing the Lubellian Stapelia play. And then Albion's just a really good card in general. It lets you see a free card and it lets you send Branded Spell and Trap, so that way you can set your plays up. The 1-off tech, I am playing 1 copy of Tearlament Sharon. More or less, the reason we play this one over the other Tearlament names, 1 is the biggest attack one. And you want your Branded Fusion, if all else fails, you want it to be able to perform 2 fusion summons in 1 activation. And that's the whole reason that I play. And honestly, it does come up, like being able to, like past turn 1, your second Branded Fusion that you're going to resolve, being able for it to have like the ability to make a Draco Stapelia Mirror Jade is actually just insane. So that's why we play the 1-off copy. Plus, if you draw it, you can, if you draw this in like Tragedy in hand, it like resolves it because it discards it for a card effect. The Bestials, we literally only play 2. We play 1 Lubellion and we play 1 Saronir. Lubellion is an engine requirement because it's 9 times out of 10 what we're sending off Branded Fusion to make Albion, because we're still doing that line of play because it's probably the best turn 1 play. And then Saronir is so that way you can also send it off Grand Ganol for the Branded Retribution, add a card back play. It also, it's actually really a cool combo. If you open it in Albert, you can still do the play where it ends on Grand Ganol and Mirror Jade. So honestly, it's the best one out of all of them to play personally. And then for the 1-off brick, we are playing 1 copy of Dark Magician. Dragoon is a really good card this format, so we need to be able to make it. I have been testing playing the Hexiod Light Fusion or Goddess with a Third Eye, but that's only for playing another extra deck monster that my buddy Oscar showed me, but we're not playing it currently, so we're just playing this. Plus, you can summon it off Fusion Deployment if you need to, and that is a play. So on to the spell cards. We play 3 of the best cards in the deck. 9 times out of 10, if you resolve this card, you're probably winning the match. And then we play 3 more copies of Branded Fusion, essentially, because it gets you Albert, and Albert is also a copy of it. So technically, you're playing 9 copies of Branded Fusion. And then there's a bunch of in and about ways to search it too. For 1 of Branded spells, we are playing 1 Theater. I'm playing this because we aren't playing Poly, and if your Branded Fusion does get ashed, you need a way to be able to fuse, and Albert being able to search it is actually just a nice insurance policy. 1 copy of Branded in red. Even though all the Bestials are most for the part out of the format, I still think you only need to play 1 of this card. And then 1 copy of Branded Lost. This is the only searchable target off Bistal Lubellion that I have in my main deck and side deck, I think, actually, and we are using that. That's how we're getting it every single time. And then on to the other cards, we are playing 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. This card is actually just really good. It's one of the best ways to play around other opposing hand traps, because playing this card makes it to where you have less vulnerability to cards like Imperm, which is popular, and Valor, which isn't as popular. Mainly because it summons Cartesia, and Cartesia's fusion summon effect is a quick effect. So 9 times out of 10, your Albert is resolving, but you still have to watch out for, for Ash Blossom. Also, this card being able to summon either Fallen Alabaz straight out of the deck or Dark Magician actually is a very relevant effect. And then the last two spell cards are Gold Sark and Foolish Burial, and this is just for consistency. This being able to basically be any copy of Aliber is really nice, or Cartesia because it can banish McCourier. This being able to send any of the Bestials, also becoming Aliber if needed. And then also being able to send Sharon to conduct a fusion summon before you activate Branded Fusion is actually just crazy. And then the one of traps, you play one Retribution and one Banishment. Me personally, I don't currently like the Expulsion combo because I feel like it opens you up to a lot more hand traps than if you were just to play Banishment. However, I mean, you can make the argument you could play either or, but right now I'm playing Banishment and I just really like it. And then the last part of the deck is the hand traps. I think this is one of the few decks that can actually play a bigger hand trap lineup. But I could be wrong on that. But they worked good for me. So I played 3 copies of Nibiru. This is just mainly for the cash matchup. And then a lot of decks actually play into this. Not like game 1, so like it's not bad. It usually comes out games 2 and 3, but for now it's good. 3 copies of Ash Blossom. I think it's the best generic hand trap. I also arguably it's really good in the mirror because it's essentially an FTK. And then we play 3 copies of Impermanence, as these are my 3 hand trap selection. And then on to the extra deck. You do have to play the extra deck kind of weird because you have to be prepared for the cash matchup, which really sucks. So there's some stuff I'm not playing because of that, but we played 2 copies of Albion, even without cash. This is always mandatory. Still playing 2 copies of Mirror Jade. You could arguably get away with 1, but because of the cash matchup, now you have to play 2. Same thing with Lubellion, the Syrian Dragon. I almost always play 1, but because of the cash matchup, you have to play 2 because you need access to it. And then we are playing 1 copy of Grangnall, the Dusk Dragon. This is the Cartesian name fusion. And this card's just really, really good. Like, being able to Foolish from extra deck or main deck's already an insane effect, but being able to tag out into, like, Despia monsters and stuff like that actually just is an insane effect. And then we are playing 1 copy of Renbrum. Arguably, we don't summon this card as much as you'd think you would, especially the way that we're playing the deck. But being able to send it off of Mirror Jade and having it in the graveyard for an interruption when you have Albaz in graveyard is actually an insane play. So, figure I'd just let you know on that one. In this list, we were playing 1 Spren because I didn't know what to expect at my locals, and I didn't know if people were still citing contacts here or not, but that's basically what that's in here for. And I'm not playing Spriggan's Kid because I don't think that card's very good. But there is an argument to play it because Spren, technically, if you send it off of Mirror Jade, can summon Spriggan's Kit. But I think after playing it and like the lack of contact that I'm seeing, I think this card comes out for something else. I just don't know what yet. And then for the technically Despia fusions, we are playing 1 copy of Masquerade. I still think you need to play the 1. And like I said, being able to make this off of Sharon whenever you sent like Branded Fusion, being able to 2 fusions. Like Mirror Jade Masquerade's like actually just a crazy combo. And then for my target of choice, I am playing Preskinian instead of Quarterus. I like Preskinian specifically because I think it's better in the mirror match, just because it can take away. It's kind of like the same thing like why the Bestials were good, because it can interrupt Branded in Red, it can interrupt Branded Banishments. If you're doing plays like if they send Albion, like you can use Preskinian to interrupt the Albion plays and stuff like that. So I just think it's just better in the mirror. Now, arguably, I think Preskinian can be better against certain matchups, like the Sword Soul matchup and whatnot, but especially if you're playing cards like Super Poly. But like I said, I just like this for the mirror. And then, as an engine requirement, since we're playing Dark Magician, I am playing 2 copies of Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, and this is mainly because it's really good in the current format. It's good against Cash, it's good against Labyrinth. It's very easy to make, and it's very hard for certain decks to out that card. And then for the last cards, we are playing 1 card of Guardian Chimera. I still think you need to play 1. And then I am playing 1 card of Dragos, copy of Dragos Depelia. And then since I haven't done one in a while, I'll go ahead and side my side deck. So for the mirror specifically, I side these cards. So I'm siding 3 copies of Magnemite and then 1 copy of Druid Worm. Now, arguably, I was talking with a buddy of mine, because I'm siding these for the mirror, even though they're not like that great against like other they're not great across the board, but I think they're good enough to warrant playing them, and I think it gives you an edge in that matchup. And then I also considered, since I'm playing Saronir in the main deck, and instead of siding 3 Magnemite, I thought about cutting this down to 2 and then playing 1 copy of Branded Regain, because Regained and Bestials just put you so far ahead in that matchup, and Regain being searchable is crazy. So I think that's what I might do going forward. I could cut the Bestial package completely because the mirror match isn't as popular as I thought, or maybe it's just my locals area and stuff like that, but for now, these were really good for me. So there's those. And then I am currently, I don't know if I will continue, but I am currently on Crossout Designator. The biggest problem with like your deck in specific is like it loses like, especially like post games 2 and 3 where people are more than likely have Ash Blossom in the deck. Or for example, if they side in copies of Dimensional Barrier against you, you can't play if those cards resolve against you. Like it's just the sad truth. So that's why I'm playing it. But it was really good for me. Like when I needed it, I saw it, and like those cards just weren't resolving against me. I am playing the 1 copy of Duster for Floodgates and stuff like that. This is a solid one of. And then I am still scared of Ibly being dropped on me, so I did play 3 copies of Enemy Controller. I was playing Ibly in the side deck, so that way I had 6 total outs to the Ibly lock, because I could just banish it off of Crossout Designator and start playing. But long story short, I forgot to grab my copy of Ibly and forgot to see if I could borrow one, so I didn't play it this format, but not with this tournament. But I haven't seen anyone, even like online, like Ibly locking anyone. So Enemy Controller might just be good enough. But this card could also be something else. I just don't know what it would be. Still think this is the best side deck card in the format, or main deck card, or whatever, wherever you want to put it. But I just think this card's just like insane. Like if it resolves, like there's a reason you should lose. And then I'm also playing the 1 copy of Dimensional Barrier. As mentioned, I use it as a cross-site designated target, so that way I can play if my opponent has it. And that was my branded deck profile. I am at some points going to play something different. Like I love playing this deck. I'm gonna be 100% honest with you, but I don't want it to be like the same situation where I played Invoked for like, I don't know, forever. And I feel like my content, like in terms of that, was just getting really stale because I was only playing the 1 deck. So I'm gonna try to play something different. I actually want to play the Math Mech deck. That deck looks really cool. And then there's some other decks I want to play too. But for now, this is my updated branded list for the March 2023 format. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.